Hey Wolf, hi. I'm going to keep things pretty minimal right now with going to be painting this globe today. So we're just going to go, just like this flask down here, we're going to go with just some really basic colors. So this is just yellow ochre and black and white, just three colors, or if you don't consider black and white colors, then just two colors. So I'm just going to be making some kind of indications where I want it to be lighter and darker. And then we'll take it from there. Rita, hi. So I'm thinking like around here, these are going to be some of the lighter areas. And just kind of roughing them in. This is an oil painting, quite a large one actually, a lot bigger than I'm used to painting. This one's 40 inches, I think it is. So 40 inches by 30 inches. And so I've gessoed with black underneath, which does help. So and I'm just kind of cruising up here. There's obviously, this is a globe, so there's a lot of detail to be put into this. I'm not worrying about any of that right now. I'm just worrying about getting the tones right. There's kind of a lighter spot here, I would say. And then a really light spot down there. This is going to be a pretty quick live. I have, my son is having a nap right now, so I will have to run off abruptly at some point in the next, I should probably be able to paint for at least an hour right now, which will be good. Be able to finish, probably most of this. Not the detail, but other than the detail. I'm just going to kind of drag that color across. And I'm just going to move over to the other side of the globe and just try to find that dark spot. What time is it here? It's the afternoon where I am I'm in Canada, on the east side of Canada, so it's 1:30-ish, 1:38, something like that. I'm going to go all the way over here. This is just yellow ochre and black. Kind of getting that warm, it's like a warm black. Kind of oops, let me just readjust the camera here. That's probably better. It was quite a lot of shine. It's 7 p.m. there. Oh, you must be in Europe. Am I using a reference? Yeah, so I drew this out based on a reference. So what I've done is I've collected for this big painting. I'm using something like 34 different pieces of paintings, all different paintings, and photographs. And I've put them all together and created a unique composition, and that's part of my narrative. I talk about in the kind of overall narrative of my work, I talk about repurposing and reimagining history and historical tropes, and so that's part of this, taking historical pieces and repurposing them, recontextualizing them. This is just yellow ochre and brown. It's reading like just reading like maybe an umber or something like that. Scream Cult, how's it going? And, you know, obviously this is a globe, so I'm going to have to put in some of those features, but we do have time. I'm going to be dropping in some of the details as we move closer to just full coverage first is the idea. Try to establish that roundness. There's no point in doing a bunch of details and then afterwards having to readjust those base colors. It really does make everything a lot longer and much more difficult to manage. So if you can, try to get it right that first time. And yellow ochre is desaturated enough as it is, but for this very top part, I'm going to go even more desaturated, almost to a gray. And all the way across the top here. This is going to give the appearance of like a glare. Am I going to sell this painting? Yeah, that's the goal. I try to sell all my pieces. I'm having a show, a solo show in Montreal in December at Gallery Une. So it'll be my third solo show with them. They're one of 3 galleries that represent me. And then I also sell work online, like not paintings, but I sell prints online. So you could check out my store if you're interested in picking up any art. I just opened my store 5 days ago, and I have 32 different prints on there. No, 34 different prints. So yeah, if you're interested, you could check that out. This is going to make a lot more sense once I get the details in here. Yeah, this is oil paint for sure. Yeah, this is oil paint. I don't know if you checked out my drawing tutorial today. I just posted another drawing tutorial. It's this one's how to draw an elephant. So if you are into drawing and learning how to draw an elephant, yeah, I'd point you to that. It's pretty fun, like simple tutorial. It's just more designed to help build confidence for people who aren't super comfortable with drawing or proportions or guidelines. So anyway, that's there if you're interested. Do I feel kind of sad when I sell my paintings? Sometimes, yeah. Like the ones that I'm with for a while. You know, in 2019, I painted a really big painting. It was like 6 feet by 4 feet, and it was really, really tiny details. Like I'm talking about, there were ants in that painting, and it was realistic. You can check it on my website if you want. It's called The Banquet. But that painting took me 4 months. Like basically all spring I was painting that one painting. And I sold it through my gallery, and it sold to an Australian collector. And so we shipped it to Australia from Canada. But like I will not see that painting again. But I spent 4 months with that painting, like every day. I painted that painting every day for 4 months, 7 days a week. Like between 6 hours and 10 hours a day for 4 months. So yeah, definitely, you definitely miss your paintings, but like that's my job, right? My job's to paint paintings and sell them. So I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I can sell my paintings. So it's a good thing. What's my website? It's markliamsmith.com. There's a link in my TikTok bio. The elephant's amazing. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you liked it. Is there a way to make oil colors dry more quickly? Yeah, there is. It's called Alkyd, or there's Gamblin makes one called Galkyd, but it's Alkyd, and it's a kind of a chemical dryer, and it makes them dry more quickly. But you could just, instead of doing that, you could just try something else. You could just try working on another painting, like a different painting. What am I painting? It's a globe. Yeah, I'm painting it's a really big one. So it's like, I just did this pod last night on live, but yeah, it's gonna be a big one. So there's that's a globe, and then it's basically a big table, and it's gonna have just everything on it: porcelain and glass and baskets of fruit and lobsters and a turkey and some skulls and some books, and just yeah, there's definitely gonna be a lot on this one. Do a realistic hand tutorial? Yeah, I can. I have a how to draw a fist tutorial. You could check that out. But yeah, I'll have to see about time constraints. Like I only get 3 minutes with TikTok, so hands are pretty complicated. And the reason is every single position has a different like structure for guidelines and stuff. Oh, lots of love from Nepal. Oh, thanks. Welcome to the live stream. I'm in Canada right now, so that's really cool. I don't think I've had anyone from Nepal jump in one of these streams before, so. I'm just kind of blocking in the main colors here. And I'm only using 3 colors, by the way. This is just white, black, and burnt and yellow ochre. So, just gonna follow these lines all the way down. Oh, hey Kelly. Nice to see you. Congratulations on the baby. So this yellow here is pretty dull, but I'm just kind of painting around. I guess this is the Caribbean. This will be the Caribbean here. It's basically North America's up here and South America's down here. Kind of an ancient, well, not super ancient, but an old map. It's pretty well mapped out. Yeah, so this is South America down here. That's Brazil into Uruguay, Argentina down there, up the west coast of Chile into Ecuador. There's Bolivia is behind this wooden piece. I'm not going to worry too much about details here. It's important to always remember the difference between a photorealist and a realist. The realist, which is what I am, doesn't really go for trying to get anything exactly the way it is. We just try to create an illusion of that thing. So that's the goal here. Can I show the palette? Yeah, I can show the palette. It's such a non-palette right now because I only have 3 colors: black, white, and yellow ochre. Nothing. And just 3 colors. We started this. I'll start the globe just now. 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, whatever. Just see how far we get before my 3-year-old wakes up. Just gonna have to put a little bit more color down here. Right now I'm just trying to think about a couple of things. I'm trying to think about the roundness of the globe, but also the direction of the light. So I have to have two competing forces right now. I have the brighter parts want to come forward. That will create the roundness. So as something recedes, it gets darker. Closer is brighter. That's the first part. And then the second part is the direction of the light. So something like this right under, there's a piece of wood that goes across the globe, right? It's one of these antique globes. So what I have to do is create shadow, but this part is coming closer. So the shadow itself has to be lighter in some places and darker in other places. It can be a little tricky. However, if you get it right, it can really look great. So let's see if I can get it right. Gonna go underneath. This is gonna be a book here, by the way. So it's this giant table, just full of stuff, full of lots of different kinds of food, and there's some books and stuff. It's I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to put it into my show in December, just because I have to ship my show in about 3 weeks, and I probably won't be done this one. But anyway, I'm going to keep working on it. Why work on a black background versus a medium tone or color? It's just a habit, I guess. So the academic method would have you work on a medium tone. You should basically tone your canvas with usually a raw sienna or a burnt sienna or a burnt umber, just one of these kind of middle tone browns. That's the academic method. And basically anything but white. The reason why you don't want to start with a white canvas is that it really messes with your tone, your value judgments when you're trying to judge how light or how dark a color should be. If you have everything is white all the way around it, it just messes with you. So so that's what you're supposed to do is have either sienna or umber. And I did do that for the longest time. But what I found was once I put that tone down, I was just stuck waiting and waiting and waiting. I was like, oh, it was so, I didn't quite have the patience to deal with that. So instead, I discovered black gesso. And yeah, it's really great. So you can, with black gesso, you can paint it and it doesn't dry black. It dries this kind of mid-gray. Which is fine, and it's close enough to that mid-tone umber that you can get started painting right away. So that's kind of the plan. That's what I do. So it's not black exactly, but it's fine. How old was I when I started painting / drawing? I've always done drawing. I started drawing comic books when I was very small. I guess even before that I was drawing. I didn't start painting until I was 18 or 19 in university. I can't remember if I took it I don't know, I didn't take it in first year. Maybe I was 20 or something before I started painting. I did a fine arts degree, but then I didn't do anything with it. And I got a different job doing non-art stuff. So I've only come back to painting recently. I've been a professional now for about 6 years. And like by professional, I mean showing my paintings in galleries and having shows in art fairs and getting grants and things like that. Yeah, I should say that I just opened up a shop. Link is in the bio, and it's markliamsmith.com/shop, and I have 34 different prints available. So if you'd like to pick something up for Christmas, they're pretty reasonable. They start at $25. I think I have like 8 or something at that price. But most of them are in that kind of $40 range. So yeah, if you're interested in, if you like my artwork, you can pick up a print if you like. That would be awesome. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Can I do Jason Voorhees? Yeah, 'tis the season, right? Yeah, maybe I'll do like a how to draw. I could do a whole series, like Freddy and just kind of all of the main ones. Like Pinhead. Yeah, I only have a few more days to get that, if I do that though, because as soon as you start drawing any Halloween related stuff after Halloween, it gets a little weird. Let me see. There's a transition here as the globe turns, so when it gets a lot darker, just like this. It's not really, well, it's kind of partially due to the shape of the globe. Obviously spherical. Technically it's not spherical. Technically a globe is called geoid. So a sphere, as you know, is a three-dimensional circle. But the Earth is not spherical. The Earth is geoid, and that's because of the way it spins. It actually bulges at the equator, and we don't have a good name for that in geometry. And you can approximate and call it a sphere, but it's not technically a sphere. But and geoid just means resembling the Earth. So it's a self-defining definition. The Earth is a shape that is defined as resembling the Earth. It's a fairly lazy naming convention. And here we are. This is northern Mexico. That's Baja California. I'm painting currently Juarez province and coming down into Sinaloa province with the beautiful, majestic coastal city Mazatlan. Back up the other side here. This is the on the state side of the Gulf of Mexico. We have Texas and Mississippi. There's Louisiana, Alabama, and into Florida, up now into Georgia and South Carolina. I think the Canadian educational system for geography is on par with, or better, with some of the top countries in the world. Skull. Can I do a skull? Yeah, I have 3 drawing tutorials on how to draw a skull. This is not a skull. This is a globe. Yeah, I have 3 different tutorials on how to draw a skull. I have one from the side, one from 3/4, and one from the front. Just using 3 colors at this point. yellow ochre, white, and black. You notice I'm doing most of my blending not on the palette, or rather on the painting. This is a particular technique called Alla Prima. You can also hear it called wet into wet. This is a really great feature of oil paint, is that the paint does stay wet, and you can blend it and mix it, and it makes it really fun to play with. You have to be careful, obviously. Oh, nice. You saw the tutorials? That's cool. Yeah, I had fun with those. There's Hudson Bay into northern Quebec and Labrador. Moving down into Quebec, there's Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and into Maine and Vermont in the States. Okay, back to Hudson Bay now. There's James Bay, northern Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. Moving over to Alberta now, and British Columbia on the west coast. Yeah, wet on wet is hugely, hugely important when it comes to watercolor painting. It's everything, all of the mistakes are amplified when it comes to watercolor. You cannot cover up your errors. So yeah, bravo for painting watercolor. That's tough stuff. So many people start with watercolor. I have no idea why. It's way, way, way harder to paint with. I think oil paint is the easiest kind of paint to paint with, and also people think it's the hardest. It's so weird, but yeah, it's the easiest because you have unlimited time, number one, and number two, you can do the most with it. You can let it dry and paint over it, or you can just wipe it off. You can do anything you can do with acrylic paint, you can do with oil, plus you can do other things with oil. Yeah, yeah, when it comes to watercolor, those things that I would not call those mistakes either. Just kind of bleeds into the page in different ways too. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I think the people that can do it right are really, really talented. Basically, that's Central America. Just like that. And then into South America. There's Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, French Guyana, Suriname, into Brazil. Okay, over to the Caribbean. I'm going to put a lot of the details in later, but for now I think we're only going to be able to see Cuba. There's the Florida Keys. Cuba and Jamaica right there. The smaller islands, I mean, I think it's just going to be too small for this map. Okay, I'm just going to clean my brush now and see what we can do with this top part here. It's going to blend it in slightly. Drag that paint across. Okay. Just back it up. Let's see what we've done so far. Just the two areas. It's important to back up from your paintings. Wolf Kicks, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So I'll be putting the details into this globe shortly. I think it's probably fine at this point. Just go for some details now, maybe. So I'm just going to make this area here a little darker. It's pulling forward too much. So I can push it back by just making it darker. And two different ways you can push something back is number one is to make it darker, and number two is to decrease the saturation. Okay. I'm just going to put in this central bar now. It's basically just black with some white lines, but I'm not going to worry about the white lines until the black has dried. So let's just see what we have. It does slightly turn. I'm going to mix just a little bit of that yellow ochre in with the black. trying to keep a steady hand here. And same thing all the way across here. Across the bottom. I have some, this little pole here too. That's been painted in black. Just important to catch that now while I can. And give it a lot of time to dry. It's really important to kind of plan your stages out. It's layering is definitely possible with oil paint. You just have to make sure that the layers underneath are dry. And then once they are dry, you have a couple of options. You can do something called scumbling, which is applying paint unevenly to a dry layer. And it's usually opaque paint. And then the other thing you can do is called glazing. And that's a different technique. Glazing is applying paint evenly, and it's applying transparent paint. Okay. I think I'm in a position now that I can start adding some details to this map. Name a villain from any show I should edit. How about Sylar from Heroes? And Qualified Avenger, if you don't know what Heroes is, then I apologize, because you are just about to spend a week binge watching at least the season 1. I'm just going to make this line here a little fuzzier. Edge is very important, whether it's a sharp edge or a soft edge. You have to sometimes focus on edge more than anything else, more than color or tone. So okay, let's get into some of the details of this map now. Just gonna go with the 0 round brush. It has a tip like this. And I'm gonna mix yellow ochre with black. It's gonna be pretty dark because I am drawing black lines on a map here, so. Let's start with this west coast line. I'm gonna take it from there. There's some mountains or something here.